Honorable Kuria Kimani, Molo constituency.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving the opportunity to contribute to this report on public debt. And from the onset, I'd like to congratulate the Committee on Debt and Privatization for a report well done. And Honorable Speaker, when the chairperson for the committee and I was speaking before we started this conversation, and I looked at the report, I realized I have the solution to one of the committee recommendations that they are making. Honorable Speaker, I've taken my time to ask myself, why do we keep talking about spending bills? And how do these spending bills come? And I'll try to explain this without being very technical. Around this time, we are passing, next week we are starting to process the budget policy statement, the BPS. And immediately after that, we start processing the estimates for financial year 23-24. Then after that, we do the finance bill. The finance bill is a bill that now proposes the tax revenue measures to raise revenue to finance that budget. But you realize by the time we are passing the finance bill, we have already passed the budget. Then later, once the state departments and MDAs get the approved estimates, the approved budget, they do the procurement plan. They say this is what the minister wants to do, and therefore they have now their plan. But when I'm making these plans for the State Department, for the ministry, they do not have the exchequer. They do not have money in their account, but they have the plan. And the performance of even these officers is based on the execution of that plan. So they start spending money that they do not have, that has not been dispersed to them. Towards now the end of the year, that's when they realize that we spend this much, but we have only received this much. And therefore there is a difference. Around that time, that's where now most governments will resort now to borrowing and say, because we have a fiscal deficit of 300 billion, we go and borrow. So it creates a debt problem. But most importantly, it creates a bill that has not been paid. Then when it is being reported in the financial statements of that particular year, the government of Kenya has adopted an accrual reporting system. An accrual reporting system means that we record the expenses and the income when they are received. So when these MDAs and these state departments do the financial reports, the issue of pending bills is nowhere on the actual report, on the actual statement. It is just an observation that this particular minister, this particular department has a pending bill of this much, but it's not in the financial statement of that particular MD, of that particular State Department. And that is why therefore, the Constitution in its wisdom, and this Parliament passed the PFM Act, establishing the Public Sector Accounting Standards Board. And the Public Sector Accounting Standards Board have actually recommended, and this is one of the, I say this, I have a solution to this problem because the Public Sector Accounting Standards Board is one of the MDAs and in the Committee of Finance and National Planning. And they have been tasked to come up with a cash reporting system so that to come up with an accrual system and not the cash system. There I reverse them. So what the government is using now is the cash reporting system. So where what is reported in the financial statements is the amounts that have been actually collected or expenses that have actually been paid for. But however, remember now with that plan that there are already commitments that have been made but are not reported because we use, and again I correct that, cash reporting system. And that is why it is now my mandate here and my committee to make sure that within the shortest time possible, we come up with that amendment and have now the government of Kenya adopt a accrual reporting system so that all these expenses are actually properly reflected on the financial statements and not just a note that a particular MDA or a particular State Department had a pending bill of amount X. And if you could just get a minute to weigh in a little on pensions. What the Honorable Kirwa said about pensions is very painful. You know, Honorable Makilap, one of my friend and a member of my committee was telling me that when this committee was doing this report, they realized that there are pensioners from Asian countries, from Indian countries, who are born in 1924. 1924. They have never died somehow.
Very well, very well. Very good contribution. Let's